What's up, YouTube? Tactical Swede here once again. Thanks for watching. So, as luck would have it, the weather is not cooperating today, so we're not gonna use the home range. So we figured, let's take it indoors. Took a trip over to 3B's shooting range in Honesdale, PA. So we're gonna get in there. We'll test out the new Polymer 80 and see how she runs. Catch you in a bit. I don't know. Alright, first shots. First Polymer 80.
I didn't get to go to shoot the What's that? I didn't get to go to the bank today. Damn it. What's that? I don't know.
Alright guys, so you saw it. That was just a little taste of the pain of the Polymer 80 build test. Lots of failures to feed, some failures to eject. Overall, it was a long, frustrating day. I wish it would have gone better. Unfortunately, it didn't. And that's, you know, to be expected when you're building a custom gun. Especially if you go the route I did. If you were to just take one of these and you take your time building it and you put factory parts in there, you're probably going to run great right out of the gate. I chose to go with aftermarket parts and custom it up a bit. And when you add aftermarket parts, you add the possibility of running into issues, and that's what happened here. Essentially what was happening, I put about 100 rounds through the gun this weekend throughout, trying to test, trying to troubleshoot, figure out what was wrong. And it was, as I said, it was frustrating because it was a lot of fire one round, clear a malfunction. Fire one round, clear a malfunction. So it was slow going, it was frustrating. But you got to stick with it. You got to figure out what's wrong. Luckily, I had at my disposal some factory Glock parts that I could swap in one at a time and kind of narrow down what the problem was. I also had some different ammunition. Originally, I was firing 115, having all kinds of issues. I stepped it up at one point to 124, and I got through a full magazine, no problem. Boom, 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 boom. Slide lock to the rear, awesome. Maybe it was just having to get worked in a little bit. Went back to the 115 again, bang, malfunction. Clear the malfunction, bang, malfunction. So I was like, well, no, the 124 worked, the 115's not. Swapped different parts out here and there, and what we figured out finally was the recoil spring. What was happening was the slide was just not fully cycling to the rear. I would, I would fire, the slide would cycle enough, most of the time enough to kick out the spent casing, but not far enough to fully grab the next round and seat it into the chamber. It was getting hung up. Every once in a while I would get a string of maybe 3 or 4 shots in a row where it would work, and then it would hang again. And then every single time on the final round, the slide was not locking to the rear. But then I could grab the slide and pull it and it would lock. So again, slide not fully, cycling back to the rear far enough to catch and lock to the rear. So again, through trying out different ammunitions, different parts here and there, we narrowed it down to the recoil spring. This is the tungsten heavy guide rod from Glock Store, and on their website they state that the stock recoil spring weight for the Gen 3 was 18 pounds, and that's what they recommend you go with for if you're wanting stock parts. So that's what I went with, 18-pound spring. I don't know if it's this spring itself is defective and it's a little bit too heavy, or if for my specific build 18 pounds is just too heavy of a spring to fully cycle the slide. I don't know what the case is, but what I'm going to do is get with Glock Store, try and replace this with a lighter spring. And once we do that, I have a feeling that this thing is going to run like a champ, because other than this, the cycling issue, I had no problems with the gun whatsoever. Every time I pulled the trigger, it fired. I had no light primer strikes, none of the stuff that you might, think about with, because I changed the striker spring weights. I did add the skeletonized striker from the pyramid trigger. All those internals that I changed, I don't have a lot of factory parts in my gun, a few minor ones, but for the most part, all of the stuff is aftermarket, and everything functioned aside from the slide not cycling fully. So I think once we swap this out with a lighter spring, it's going to function perfectly, and we're not going to have any issues from there on out. So yeah, that's it, guys. I guess the moral of the story is take the time to, first of all, learn how the gun functions, because that is going to help you out in diagnosing these kind of issues. I've seen several guys online that built these, ran into problems, and then just scrapped them because they get so frustrated that they can't get it to work that they just toss it. And I think if you just take the time to, first of all, learn the function, and then second of all, take the time. I know it's frustrating. I was frustrated as hell at the range. But, you take the time, troubleshoot, figure out what the problem is, and work through it. And the end result is going to be something that works just fine. You just have to take the time to figure it out. All right, guys, that's all I got today. Just wanted to throw this out there. Hopefully, we'll get a replacement part here soon. Get back out to the range for take 2 of the Polymer 80 test. All right, so as always, guys, if you like what I'm doing, please give me that thumbs up. By all means, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button up there and stay up to date with any new videos we got coming out. We'll catch you next time. Till then, live life and have fun out there.